Welcome to Duck Season Somewhere podcast. This episode is brought to you by the following sponsors. For 365 days a year, it's duck season somewhere at Ramsey Russell's GetDucks.com. The world of duck hunting is way bigger than our backyard. The very best duck hunts in Argentina and Mexico are only the beginning. We specialize exclusively in 6 continents worth of proven waterfowl hunting adventures. Whether you're looking for a unicorn species or a fun trigger pulling vacation of epic proportion, we've got the right hunt dialed in. Real duck hunts and authentic experiences for serious duck hunters. As a genuine American duck hunter myself, I know the difference. Founded in 2003, GetDucks.com is not just what we do, it's all we do. I've been there personally many times. Our reputation speaks for itself. Anita and I are personally available to assist before, during, and after your trip because you deserve nothing less. Looking for something closer to home? The next great hunt is closer than you think. Contact proven operators throughout the U.S. and Canada at our U.S. hunt list. Explore worldwide duck hunting at GetDucks.com. All package details, photos, videos, stories, and thousands of client testimonials right there at your fingertips. GetDucks.com. Ball Shot Shell's copper-plated bismuth tin alloy is the good old days again. Steel shots come a long way in the past 30 years, but will never, ever be like good old-fashioned lead. No way. Say goodbye to all the gimmicky, high-recoil compensation science and marketing hype, and hello to superior performance. Know your pattern, take ethical shots, make clean kills. That is the boss way. The good old days are now. It really is duck season somewhere for 365 days per year. Duck season somewhere takes me year-round to worldwide destinations where I visit with the most interesting people. I'm your host, Ramsey Russell. Join me here to listen to those conversations. This is Ramsey Russell, GetDucks.com, and it's duck season somewhere. I'm sitting at a pretty cool camp. Looking around, you got rusty tin wainscoting, and my favorite picture in the camp is an old black and white picture, probably somebody's grandmama now, but of a lady wearing nothing but hip boots and a duck cap and a shotgun right above the bar. Our eyes are getting heavy. If we sound subdued, it's because we went out this afternoon and shot ducks and came back and drowned some ice cubes with some brown water. And my guest today, Mr. Ira McCauley, cooked some reverse sear ribeyes and some kind of shrimp concoction that is to die for. I had never shot a duck in the state of Missouri until this afternoon, thanks to Ira. What's going on, Ira?
Oh, man, just favorite time of year.
Favorite time of year.
Love it.
What? Tomorrow it's going to be cold. Today was beautiful, 65 degrees and clear. Tomorrow's going to be cold. Heck, it's cold out there when I went out there to let the dog out. What's tomorrow going to bring in terms of ducks around here? What's going on this time of year in Missouri?
Well, like I said before, in a normal year, which we haven't had one for a while, we don't get our first good push of mallards to where we can shoot several mallards until our Veterans Day front. So we've already had 3 Veteran Days fronts before now. But tomorrow, full moon, big north wind, ice cold temperatures. Low tomorrow night supposed to be like 12, 15 degrees.
Maybe some snow.
Man, that's cold. An inch of snow. So it's going to shake things up. I hate to say goodbye to our early migrants, but I bet their butts are gone tomorrow, and we'll probably be looking at nothing but green heads from here on.
We're looking forward to seeing some of those early migrants down in Mississippi. Maybe we'll have a good opener this year for the first time ever.
You send them back our way.
Today was awesome. Because we got up this morning, drank a bunch of coffee, cleared our heads, and then did a big pass of the Missouri River bottoms. That's some pretty daggum amazing country y'all got up here.
Man, it's a disaster this year, Ramsey. I mean, all the flooding, water everywhere, broken levees, sand, trees. I mean, some of these huge tracts, farm ground, aren't going to be farmable for 3 years. You know, they got to get major equipment in there, get all that sand removed, get all the trees removed. I mean, fix the levees. And the Corps already told us next year's going to be the same thing. So 2020, Dakotas are full of water. They said, you just expect the same kind of deal next year. Devastating to the farming communities in the Midwest. The amount of water that comes down that river, the levees, a lot of them won't even be fixed, and there's probably going to be a whole lot of farmers that just don't even get a crop in again.
Devastating for farmers, devastating for habitat managers. We're downriver of you. I'm dreading the thought of it flooding like it did last year on us or down the South Delta. It's going to really hurt some feelings if that South Delta goes underwater like that again. It really is. What's so special about what's going on in this part of Missouri that there's so dadgum many ducks? What is it about this part of the Mississippi Flyway, do you think?
I think that we're just
blessed.
A staging area for them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
They come, and we're just in a good location. There's several rivers that come together. We've got the food for them.
What river? Now, what all rivers is that?
So we've got the Grand River. There's
River.
2 Grand Rivers in Missouri. You got the South Grand down by Truman Lake, and then you got the North Grand, which is one that comes through here. It flows into the Missouri River right around Brunswick, Missouri, and so that's kind of where our stuff is. We're in the Golden Triangle. We've talked about this before, but the Golden Triangle is bordered on the north by Fountain Grove, Swan Lake. They're about 5 miles apart. And then you got Grand Pass, which would be southwest of there, maybe as the crow flies 20 miles. Then you got Dalton Cutoff, which is a big oxbow lake off the Missouri River, which is another 15 miles east of Grand Pass. So those 4 areas make up the Golden Triangle, and there's just a whole lot of ducks that stage in our area. And, I think that in today's world, we're just kind of, in the latitude where a lot of them come early and stay late. They never leave, The last time I remember being short on ducks here was probably 2009, I think. It was a really cold year, man. We had some huge snows. And that's the only year that I remember thinking, man, there are just not very many ducks around.
I saw something interesting today right here down the road in Sumner. We go to this little bar, Goose Hunting Capital of the World, which I never thought of this. And it reminded me of earlier this morning, we were somewhere off one of those river bottoms. There were some odd-looking towers in the woods. Mm-hmm. Remember seeing those? What was that all about? I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, man, back in like the 70s, early 80s, the Canada or the Sumner area, Swan Lake zone, the whole eastern prairie population of Canada geese came here, and they came like mid-October. They don't come here anymore. They all, I'm sure they're up in Minnesota where they winter or whatever now, but they don't come here anymore. Now, we still get plenty of honkers, but they're not that part of the population. And, but they had a quota that was like 15 to 18,000 geese, and they'd shoot them fast. And you can only shoot one or maybe 2 some years a day. But it was almost all pass shooting, not much decoying. So these guys would build blinds way up in the trees so that they could catch a few extra.
Like a deer stand.
Yeah, and it was like the Wild Wild West back then. Like, you can read some of the old literature and talk to some of the old guys. Hell, they'd cut each other's trees down, light them on fire. It was the Wild Wild West out there.
Like blinds on Reelfoot Lake or Catahoula or somewhere like that. That's crazy.
I can't imagine now. It's just now everything's about the ducks around here. Back then, there was no duck hunting. It was all about the Canada goose, the wild Canada goose. It was like a miracle of nature. The wild Canada goose would come, and man, people came from all over to come shoot Canada geese right here in Sumner, Missouri. And now everybody goes to Kansas City to shoot geese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a different world for sure.
Change up the topic, because I sure have eaten good here. You told me last night, usually first night when you get to camp, you cook a big old pot of gumbo.
Almost every week, yeah. Yep, because then if you're hungry, you can get gumbo breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It doesn't matter. You're hungry, you come in, you freaking heat some up, and you're eating 2 minutes later, and it'll make you warm and fill you up.
Good for lunch today.
Yeah. So,
but this evening, having that shrimp, golly, was that shrimp good for dinner. Tell me how you made that.
Oh, man. It's pretty easy. So chop up an onion, put it in with some butter, saute your onion in that, throw some mushrooms in there, cut some little cherry tomatoes in half. So put your onion in there, put your mushrooms in there, put some garlic in there. And then right when it's all kind of getting soft, then you take, for the amount of stuff we're doing tonight, 1.5 tablespoons. You don't want to use too much flour. You don't want it to be too thick. And you put that in there. So you're making a roux, but you're not browning it like you do a roux for gumbo. You know, it's a white roux.
Thicken it up a little bit.
Thickener, yeah. So you let that get hot. You know, you make that flour hot. And then that's what allows, when you add moisture, that flour, they're little bitty particles, but it's like popcorn. So if you get it hot and then you add your moisture, it just explodes. And that's what makes it a good thickener like that. You know, so I put that flour in there, put my tomatoes in there, then added whole cream to it, and put some Old Bay in there, a little bit of Tony Chaster's in there, Cajun seasoning, and then put in my whole cream, let that all, let my shrimp simmer in there. Then it was a little thicker than I wanted, so I added a little milk, thin it back down some. That was it, buddy. Now, if I really want to get fancy, then I'll put some cheddar cheese in there, like sharp cheddar. Make some little toasted bread. And then eat that over toasted bread. Oh, God, it's so
that sounds good. You got any left? We can eat that for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll eat some. Yeah. And then the other thing, like at home, we grow lavender in our garden. Man, I'll take that lavender. I don't know if you guys have never done it, but lavender with fish or any kind of seafood is unbelievable.
I have never had lavender. I don't think I've ever used it as an ingredient.
Oh, man, it's good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. With seafood, it's really good.
Tell me more about Locust Grove. Tell me more about your camp house here. I did not realize it'd been around so long, but this was like a proving ground of Moe Marsh. Y'all did a lot of equipment tests out there where we hunted this evening.
Oh, yeah. So, there's a ton of history at our little camp here. I mean, this was before we had a lodge for Habitat Flats, our clients stayed here. My dad cooked at our house here. That when we first bought this house, it was moved here in the 70s. It used to be 10 miles away there, okay? So they brought it over here. They moved the whole house. But the original house was from that post to that wall. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That was the whole house. Yeah. We had a little bitty laundry room right there. And we had a screened-in porch over there. So we built that bunk room back in like 2007, 2006 maybe. And Aaron and I would do continuing education hunts for veterinarians. So we would host veterinarians. Drug companies would pay all the costs associated with it. We'd have a continuing education race veterinarian that would come, and we'd do little meetings, where we have to have 10 hours a year. And so the costs were underwritten by the drug companies, and we charged them top dollar, and we had great hunting, And so that was kind of the start of that, got the wheels spinning on the whole Habitat Flats thing. Like, we're charging major money for these guys to come just to try to underwrite some of our expenses, cover some of our costs. And they'd stay in that bunk room where you're staying, and we'd cook for them and have a big time. So then we started Habitat Flats. Well, I'd move out of here when we were hosting hunters. I'd go live in a daggum freaking rat hole. And my dad would sleep upstairs, and he was the cook. So he'd cook for the guys and all that. We'd take them hunting. And then Tony we talked about this before, but Tony had a snow goose deal. And so we started it all right here.
Right here in this camp house.
Right here, yeah.
That would have been 2000.
We built our lodge in 2009, so the years before that. So 2006, 7, 8.
The place really does have a lot of history, and it shows.
Oh, yeah. And then on the Moe Marsh side, yeah, man. So like when we went to the Grand today, and you were looking out over that big flooded bottom out there. A lot of it's public ground, right? All walk-in hunting. So, I mean, I wanted to build some tools that would make it easier for me to get all my crap out there, make it a more enjoyable hunt, more fun. Like tonight, we were hunting. We didn't bring any buckets. We were on our knees and stuff. No, man, I want to sit there and I want to be able to see what was going on. I want to watch those birds. I want to take in the whole experience, and shoot them close. And so, that's why we started building those boats and all the other stuff, was so that we could go to public ground and really excel. I mean, just freaking have a great experience on public ground. and be comfortable in these situations that were difficult situations. I mean, going in, getting way back in there, and then hunting in cover that was pretty poor a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
But Locust Grove allowed us to really hone some of that stuff because, I mean, we have a lot of ducks here. We can come and go as we please. We can take a ranger out. We can do, just a lot of the headaches of some of the public stuff. Instead of getting up 2 a.m, heck, I'm rolling, getting up 5:30 or like today. We didn't even hunt till this afternoon. So, it just allows you to do a lot of stuff. You can't fly a drone on public ground. I mean, we put that drone up there and see, okay, well, what's this look like? And what's that look like? And what's the guy sitting on a bucket look like? And all that stuff, And so we just did a whole lot of our product testing right here on where we're hunting this afternoon on Locust Grove.
That was a heck of a hunt. We walked in and how many mallards was that out there? We hunted on the south end. It had to have been 2,000 or 3,000.
Apparently too damn many because they kicked our ass.
Oh, boy. Note to self, 35 decoys and 3 hunters calling to them, not having much sweet talk. It was very, very difficult, but they were such a tease. They would act like they were listening, and then right before they got into the strike zone, they would just say, screw you, and they'd peel back off into the flock and go land. Yeah. Well, we still had a great shoot, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I wish when those 150, that parade of teal was coming over and y'all were trying to kill those mallards, I wish I'd just jumped up and started shooting.
You did!
Well, I did the first time, but I felt embarrassed enough I didn't do it the second time.
Well, shit,
I wish
you
I had
done
now. Y'all have started catching up, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That was a really, really good hunt. We had a good time this afternoon.
Yeah, we had a couple that did it good and shot a little variety pack. I mean, it was a beautiful afternoon to be out there, that's for sure. The wind, the dang weatherman, he was telling us we're going to have a good wind this afternoon. I mean, the feather would have dropped straight down until about there at the end, Your
little dog Cash did really, really good. You said that was her 7th hunt, and I was just astounded. Rock steady. She marked birds in the front and the back because nothing really just got right where you wanted them. But I was very impressed. I mean, I would be very pleased if my little dog was half that good in 7
Yeah,
months.
thanks, man. She's doing excellent. I had the Higdon boys here last week, and my old dog Sadie died, and I was like, oh my gosh. I had no idea what to expect. I mean, I didn't know if she'd break, if she wouldn't go. I mean, she never hunted before. I had no idea. Might not even pick up a duck, and she did great. So she didn't break for 5 days. The 5th day, she broke on a duck that landed right in front of her there, and we didn't shoot it. And she took off, and I was kind of shocked. I'm scrambling around. She was already there, so I was like, all right, well, I'll be ready next time. So the next duck come in, I said, the guy I was hunting with, I said, you shoot this duck, I'm going to have my finger on the button. So sure enough, he shot, and she broke. Man, I hit that button. Whoo! She's back in that
right
lab.
back in the house, yeah.
I was like, man, we haven't had any breaking issues since then.
That's good. Oh, I was unbelievably impressed at how she performed this evening. And she's such a happy dog. It's just, you can train a dog, but you just can't. Good dogs are they're born. They're who they are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can train a dog, but that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
The dog's got to have that kind of attitude.
Yeah, and like tonight, I mean, it's just so fun to have a young dog because you see all the light bulbs coming on. So, like definitely her weakest point has been that, everything's been taught. So, like, you're not really teaching them to use their nose so much when you're training them. Like, okay, here's how to go back. Here's how to go over. Here's how to do a swim by and not cheat the bank and whatever. But they got to learn a lot, like how to hunt dead on their own. You know what I mean?
How to find that bird.
Yeah. And so she didn't have any experience doing that really, So like, in the beginning, I mean, she'd swim right past the duck. She's checking every decoy, going up and bumping it and, oh, that's not a duck and all that. But I was watching her tonight and she's really starting to figure out how to use her nose, man. She'd get down and win a quarter. Like we had a couple strong cripples that I didn't shoot just because I wanted her to like find them, you know what I mean? And figure it out. And, so I was watching her, every day she figures out a little bit more how to use her nose and how to be a duck dog. I mean, you can train them a lot of stuff, but then some of that stuff, it's just experience, man. They just got to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun watching all that stuff light up.
Are you a mallard purist?
Oh, hell no. God, no. Absolutely not. I'll shoot anything. I'll shoot a ringneck. I don't care.
Next duck over the decoys.
Yeah. Like tonight, the only reason I didn't shoot when you shot at those teal was there were so many ducks in there. I just kind of wanted them to settle just a little bit, before it ripped into some. But God, no, I'll shoot anything. Hell yeah. Now, honestly, I embrace the variety because so much of our season, we don't have it. I mean, like the majority of our season, all we're shooting is mallards. Like if I see an odd duck, I don't care what it is, you're going to shoot it because you're probably not going to get another chance.
Well, yeah, looking at your logbook tonight, what you were saying is about this time last year, after this point, after this front, this Veterans Day front, it's really y'all just kind of settled into mallard limits and not much else.
Yeah. I mean, you're hoping you get an odd duck before you're done with
Don't
mallards.
throw me in that briar patch. I guess I could suffer through shooting nothing but mallards.
Yeah,
the rest of the season.
I love shooting mallards, but I'll shoot anything. I don't care. Hooded merganser, it doesn't matter to me. Joe gets so mad I shoot all that stuff. He's like, what? That's disgusting. Why would you shoot that? That is disgusting. I'm like, well, hell, send me another disgusting one. I'll pull the trigger
Dog
again.
don't care, does it? It'll fetch it up.
No, shit, no.
No, that's pretty darn good. Well, I'm looking forward to hunting in the morning. I really am. It's just the opportunity to hunt in the snow, and I hope that front will come on in.
Well, they're still saying it's in snow and blow, and something's gonna change, man. We got a full moon. I mean, tomorrow, 100% full moon.
That's the day.
It's the Veterans Day front. I mean, that's always a big mover, man. I mean, things change on that Veterans Day front. This year we've had several fronts, and the ducks have been early again, but we're going to pick up much mallards, I'm sure, and probably some geese. I haven't seen many geese at all. So, yeah, I mean, our biggest problem is going to be figuring out where we want to go.
We drove all over the bottom of the day, and I didn't see any geese, but I saw more swans than I saw geese. Yeah,
and there'll be a ton of them coming. They usually don't get here till, well, they'll start. I mean, we'll have 500 across the road by Thanksgiving. So, what do we see today? 40, 50, something like that?
At least.
There'll be a bunch more showing up. I would expect to see some geese migrating tomorrow.
That'll be good.
So we just need to figure out if we want to hunt like a big migration spread, like a big black spread, a bunch of honker decoys, mallard decoys, full bodies, all out there in a 0 grade pit. Or we want to go to heaven and shoot them there, So I'm not going to count my chickens before they're hatched, but it does make a difference on time,
Yeah.
We go to that pit, it'll take us a little bit to set up. We go to heaven, all we do is walk in there 2.5 minutes before shooting time, press play, and start blowing your duck call.
Well, it's kind of hard to beat that. Baird and I are just along for the ride. Wherever you decide, we're happy. We're happy campers.
Yeah, it'll be fun either way. Even if we and there have been days where I thought, man, tomorrow's gonna be a day we're gonna get a huge migration. Sometimes, if it's been like stale and you just get a little bitty west or north wind, man, holy crap, here they come, But other times when you've had several strong fronts in a row, you get another one and it's like, oh, tomorrow's gonna be the day, and then nothing really happens, you know what I mean? But I do think with the full moon, the time of the year, and the intensity of this front, I think tomorrow will be a big game changer.
I think it is. I just stepping out a little while ago, the temperatures dropped, the winds picked up big time. That wind we were expecting this afternoon is finally blowing out there. I think it's fixing to happen.
I would have been fine waiting another week or 10 days for it, but we'll take it tomorrow. That's fine.
Well, yeah, I'll be happy tomorrow. Monday, Tuesday's supposed to get sure enough cold. And you better keep this water open up here, you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got, with the well, like we have well discharges. Enough to hunt. It's not like you're going to have hundreds of thousands of birds sitting in your daggum ice eater hole, for God's sakes. I do think that's a common misconception. In the South, they're like, well, heck, they're delaying the migration with ice eaters. That's absolutely not the case. You might be able to kill a couple ducks over an ice eater.
Right. It's just enough open to keep the decoys floating and keep them moving.
Keep you a clean hole, but nothing lives there.
No.
But it's the time of the year. Like I keep having to remind myself, even though we've had so many ducks here, I mean, I still, the flow, the rhythm of a migration always kind of wants to be the same. You got your calendar migrators that migrate on the calendar. You got your weather migrators that migrate on the weather. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, we got a bunch of mallards around and blah, 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 but we still don't have any geese, so that's normal. We had a bunch go through early. They never stop. They just leave, they go straight to Arkansas, Louisiana, wherever.
Well, you said that today, you said that it's almost like a two-stage goose migration, that the snow special, the first initial push will just pass on through.
They might stop.
And y'all catch later birds.
They're the late birds are the ones that winter here.
And they'll stay here.
Yeah. They don't leave.
Specks and snows.
Yes.
And Canadas.
Yes.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to come up here one day if those swans keep building up and they start having a swan season.
Man, I would sure think so. I remember back 20 years ago, you might see 5 or 10 trumpeter swans in a year. And it was like, oh, golly, we saw a pair of trumpeter swans today. It was so cool, blah, blah. And now, they're literally everywhere. Like when I could go for a drive in a 3 square mile area from here and see 1,000 trumpeter swans.
I wonder where they're coming from. Maybe Minnesota.
I don't know, man. There's a bunch of them.
I've actually heard Minnesota may be opening a swan season because they've got so many now. That's just up the flyway.
Yeah.
When does y'all season end up here? Because, it's like in my mind, sitting back home, I don't think of Missouri being a long ways away, but I'm 10, 11 hours north from Brandon, Mississippi, and y'all aren't staying. How late do y'all stay open up here?
So we hunt, like our lodge here, where we're sitting right now, is in the north zone, okay? And so we'll close, I don't know, around the first of the year, maybe a little bit after. And then where we went to our lodge at the Grand, it's in the middle zone. So this year it's going to close 12 days later than that. So it'll close like, mid-January.
I bet.
12th, 15th, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have a little 5-day split. They open a week later and they have a 5-day split.
And the Boot Hill must be another zone altogether.
Well, the Boot Hill's weird, man. The Boot Hill, most of the Boot Hill's in the middle zone. So they opened Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a very small part of it that's in the south zone. And the south zone goes until the very end. It goes till whatever it is, January 30th or something, right around there.
I appreciate you having me up here, and I appreciate you talking about duck hunting, duck camp.
Yeah, buddy.
Everybody's listening to the Innovator podcast. And I've learned a ton about you listening to that podcast, participate myself. I've learned a ton more just being up here with you. But I just want to have a good duck camp visit with you.
Yeah, man. It's been good.
That's what it's all about.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're not as drunk as we were last night. God damn.
You might remember this in the morning.
Shit, I hope so.
Folks, thank y'all for listening. I've been with Ira McCauley up here in Sumner, Missouri. Check it out at Ira Mo Marsh on Instagram, or check it out at Ramsey Russell Get Ducks. Again, thank y'all for listening, and hope those ducks are heading y'all's way too. Duck Season Somewhere is produced by Ben Page. Original soundtrack by our friend Cody Huggins.